save this. And so that's my introduction. I'm sorry it wasn't real, but we so appreciate repeat, and you'll do very well compared to what my talking is right now. So
No, you
go
did just
ahead.
fine. Okay, and thank you. I am so glad I got to watch your Lifetime Achievement and listen to all of the lovely things that people have said about you, each and everything so well deserved. I apologize for my lighting here. I'm in a guest office in my firm's Portland office today. I had some meetings down here in Portland, so I am not in my usual environment up in Seattle where I have total control over what my equipment looks like. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak with you again. I was pretty hopeful. After the last time we spoke, I should probably have been more realistic, but I am the eternal optimist, which is what you have to be when you represent Indian tribes. You have to have eternal optimism and grit and resilience and just decide never to give up, which is pretty much what Native peoples have been doing since time immemorial. Um, so the outcome of the objection. So let me back up even further.
Yes.
The Bad River Band is a sovereign government that is recognized under the Clean Water Act as a downstream jurisdiction. And when the state of Wisconsin was presented with this proposed project to reroute the pipeline around the exterior boundaries of the reservation, the pipeline will actually be constructed within the state of Wisconsin's jurisdiction. And so the state had to certify under Section 401 of the Clean Water Act that the project, as proposed, would not violate Wisconsin water quality standards. In doing that, the state of Wisconsin imposed, I forget what the number is, it's like 250 conditions that have to be satisfied in order for the project to satisfy their water quality standards. Well, that's never going to happen. And the state of Wisconsin does not dip its toe into reservation waters. So it is not certifying through this 401 certification that it will satisfy the Bad River Band's water quality standards, which are more protective. So the Clean Water Act says, okay, when there is a downstream jurisdiction, downstream of a project, and the downstream jurisdiction believes that its water quality standards will be violated, then it can object, which is what the band did. We looked at what the proposed project was and said, there is no way that even if you have these 250 conditions satisfied, that it will be protective of the more protective water quality standards of the band and its uses of its resources. So we made the objection. We had a 2.5-day public hearing before the Corps in St. Paul. And the EPA stood up and said that it did not believe that the water quality standards would be violated, but we didn't consider all of these things. And it listed materials and information that it had not considered, and it was not considering what we were going to present at the public hearing. And then Enbridge got to go and do its presentations about how great all of its proposed best management practices are and how wonderful its operations are and how it will absolutely not violate water quality standards. And then we stood up and did our technical presentations. We had information that more than rebutted the stuff that the EPA said and the stuff that Enbridge said. And then the last half of our presentation was entirely in Ojibwe, untranslated. We provided a transcript at the end, but it was amazingly powerful to watch tribal members testifying in their native language to the Corps of Engineers in a public forum. So that was in May or June. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time, and I went on sabbatical for 2 months since then. And the Corps, unsurprisingly, decided that, there's no way that this is going to violate water quality standards. Once you do all the 250 things that Wisconsin says you need to do, then you're good to go, Enbridge. So it issued a permit to them to allow the construction of the pipeline and the filling of wetlands temporarily and permanently. But there is this ongoing contested case hearing before the state of Wisconsin, DNR, over the permit. And the water quality certification by the state of Wisconsin has been stayed, so it's not final or effective. So construction cannot commence under the permit that the Corps has issued. So it's still hanging out there. The contested case hearing was, I think, 5 or 6 weeks over the summer. They are now doing their final post-hearing briefs to the DNR. The administrative judge will make a decision. I doubt by the end of the year. Enbridge was demanding that she render a decision after a 5-week hearing with all of this complicated information and all of these experts and all of these witnesses. But I do not believe that will happen. But probably early in 2026, she will make a decision. Then there is an opportunity, if the tribe and the environmental partners and friends and allies are not successful, they can appeal it to the state court. The other thing that's happening is the U.S. District Court case where the federal court said that Enbridge was trespassing across the reservation and had to remove its pipeline and cease operating by 2026. That was appealed to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. So that appeal is ongoing. So there's lots of moving pieces with respect to the litigation. There is a right to file a lawsuit, another federal lawsuit, to appeal the permit. So the tribe is contemplating whether or not to do that. They have a 6-year statute of limitations, so there's a big long window to figure it out. But I think we're, waiting for the outcome of the contested case hearing. Because if the DNR says, yeah, we were wrong, we should not have certified this as satisfying our water quality standards, then it goes back to the drawing board and the permit cannot be acted upon, it cannot be constructed. So lots of moving pieces. Obviously, it's extraordinarily expensive to try these cases. And so the tribe is trying to be judicious and do things with the biggest bang for their buck. So what can you do now? So obviously, anytime there is a public hearing on something, you are welcome to participate and speak and provide comment in opposition to the permit and opposition to the project. The Corps of Engineers said that it had satisfied its trust responsibility to the tribe when it issued this permit. Obviously, we disagree. It found that the tribe had not offered sufficient expert testimony and scientific studies that established all of the things that we said would happen, excuse me, when the permit was issued. Obviously, from a technical perspective, we disagree with that. So those are things that will be appealed in a lawsuit. But the fundamental premise of the need for this pipeline is the thing that we can be talking about in public, the things that we can be writing letters to the editor about. The Corps of Engineers issued a press release upon issuing the permit and said that the approval of the Enbridge Line 5 reroute application is a great success and will advance the president's energy dominance agenda for America. Energy dominance agenda for America. This pipeline carries Canadian oil to Canada. It does not offer energy, petroleum or otherwise, to the United States. So, and then thank you very much, Patricia. The Wisconsin DNR said it doesn't provide it to Wisconsin either. So how is this energy dominance to America? This is Canadian energy dominance using the public resources of the United States, the states of Michigan and the state of Wisconsin. So that's maddening that this is not United States energy dominance, even if you think that that's misguided or not. The people who are thinking that it is, pro-America, let's do this. No, it is not. It is not energy dominance. The Sierra Club, Wisconsin chapter, and I don't know if there are members of the Sierra Club who are participants in your group, but yes, they have stuff on their website about, they agree, obviously, that the oil that flows through Line 5 doesn't originate from the United States and is not used in the United States. But they also cite to an oil industry consulting firm study that shows that shutting down Line 5 would be good for energy independence. So shutting it down would be good for energy independence, totally contrary to United States energy dominance and freedom from reliance on foreign sources. And then finally, the state of Michigan commissioned a study and found that decommissioning Line 5 would actually create more jobs than building the tunnel project that Enbridge has proposed for the Straits of Mackinac. So all of these talking points about energy dominance and jobs creation and the things that Enbridge is spinning, that the Corps of Engineers has bought into, are actually contrary to fact. And those are the conversations I think that might be more appealing at this point to folks whose minds and hearts could be changed than by continuing to point out the harms of fossil fuels, the risks to the environment, the harm to the traditional cultural resource practices of the Bad River Band. If we're talking about economics and jobs and energy independence, Enbridge is not telling the truth. So that's my pitch for you all tonight.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thanks very much, you guys.
Oh, thank you for the hours you put into this and over all these years, and appreciate it so much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I think we have a hand up, Dan Folkman.
Yeah. If we can continue some of the personal connections with Mary Kay. And Tonietta, your comments really reflect some of my first encounter with Mary Kay. I was doing videography up north. I'm in Milwaukee. I think it was in the Eau Claire area. I can't remember. But it was a long day, many presentations. And Mary Kay was the last speaker of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know Mary Kay. And I'm thinking, I'm exhausted, done all this videoing and the like. And she gets up and delivered a little speech to the members of the progressive community that just struck to my heart the strength and wisdom and courage, because she wanted to share with them how they could do better at working with someone who has dementia. And I said, I couldn't believe how articulate and powerful and personal message. And it was practical. And now that I share the diagnosis, at that time, I said, how am I going to meet this woman? I need to just say to her how much what she said was just so impactful. I did not know that I would meet again and I'd have the privilege of establishing a deep friendship and collaborative partner in the video work that I was doing, and how she broadened and deepened that work. And what I saw and what I heard was the heart, the intellect, the drive, and the commitment to humanity was still vibrant and powerful. And it was humbling to be able to work with Mary Kay. And we actually did so many videos together that we put together a playlist. And I don't 10, 15, I don't know what it was, but it was across the whole wide swath of political activism. And I know Mary Kay as a videographer, as an editor, and as an activist in this medium. And we did a lot of work together. And every time I look forward to those editing sessions, and we'd even comment about how much we enjoyed the work together. And you know you're doing good as a videographer and as a video editor if you can bring tears to people's eyes. So I worked very. She would cry during our edits. And I just want to share with people what a lovely, powerful experience it has been for me. And I look forward to a few more videos, Mary Kay. Thank you very much. And I'm humbled to be in this space of friends to honor your award. So thank you everyone for recognizing Mary Kay.
Oh. Thank you so much for that, Daniel, because Mary Kay, you've gone from crying at the videos to smiling. You're just beaming through the screen. And this is exactly what we are so joyful to be witness to. Oh,
I just want to add one thing to this. We were on so many different kinds of themes. We worked on redistricting, that when it was heartbreaking what was going on. And um, and that's, I think, was some of the, and it ended up with our governor who actually did, after all this rushing back and forth to the United States Supreme Court and all and we come out with a where for the first time tribal groupings were the rule of keeping people together, like people together, and don't cut a city in half if you don't have to, or try to keep and it had never, well, Stockbridge, Muncie, and Menominee were right next door to each other and were kept apart. And now those two tribal groupings plus my husband's Oneida are all in the same some same okay, you get
district, right?
Thank you, district. Thank you. Anyway, it's and one of the things that we worked on is very short, and it is in the materials that you got, and it's me saying heartfeltly how important it is that people with cognitive issues at whatever level need to be able to hear others speak about that, and that they can speak and not be the just let go, or we know we're not going to learn anything from you kind of thing. So but mainly it was always a delight. We always had fun when we worked together. Thank you very much.